What is good, YouTube? Quinway coming to y'all with an analysis breakdown tribute to one of the greatest point guards and players to ever play the game, Isiah Thomas. He was a quick, speedy guy, can finish in the paint by using his quickness to get up early and to be able to create that space or that separation to be able to finish at the basket. He was very fast, very crafty, very smart, and very explosive. And when he went to the paint, sometimes you didn't even know that he was going up for a layup because he was just that smart and didn't really show his full hand. And he was actually one of the best scorers at that time too, just because he kept improving and kept growing as a player, and he ended up turning into one of the best ones. He was very fast and very athletic, and he used that to his advantage. But he can also slow down the game and get other shots that he want or play off the ball a little bit, as you done seen. He was able to do that with layups and with jump shots, getting easier shots depending on who was defending him and what team they was going against. And that just called preparation, being ready for your opponent and being ready to have a big game and big moments like superstars and Hall of Famers should. And his mid-range game was where he needed to be. Ultimately, being able to hit tough shots and contest the shots when needed. And that's what happens when you garner that much attention and they make you step your game up. And Isiah Thomas was able to do that as being the Finals MVP. And he was able to make his mid-range very decently and very smart, very a guy that understood how to use his dribble and his handles to get to the spots that he wanted to. He had a huge thing that he used to do, which was sizing up the defender by watching their feet, watching what they were trying to do defensively, and using that to his advantage when he had to attack. Even if it was a pull-up jumper, even if it was using that to get by him to make a layup or a dunk, he understood when to use his speed and his quickness and when to set his feet up to be able to make a perimeter shot instead of a layup when he didn't have that available or somebody was already in the paint, so they took that option away. He was able to observe and evaluate what he should do offensively, and that's something that the great players should do and they usually do, and he just was able to do it at a high level and against the best competition like he really determined to do, and he was able to accomplish that. But I like his pull-up game, and he has some guys that would come out at him and try to force him to drive, but he will already be locked into the guy that's defending him, so you couldn't really trap or help sometimes because he made quick decisions when it mattered the most, and when those opportunity came, he was already picking that opportunity because it's all about getting the best shot available within 24 seconds in the shot clock. And I feel like he was a great general and a great player, observing and reading the defense to the best of his ability and making the right play, even if he had to be the offensive aggressor when it comes to scoring the basketball. And sometimes he even, was a little frustrated because of that, because it comes with being a general. But other than that, when you look at the fact that he had the ability to dump it off when he speed passed or wanted to pull up. He can always use his speed and quickness to help one of his teammates get an easy basket around the rim or a mid-ranger or a three. They didn't really shoot threes back then in Detroit like that, but it was always an option that they can rely on if they point guard was able to create probing or separation and was able to collapse the defense. He can always find somebody for easy opportunities, and he always took advantage of that to the highest extent. This is a guy that led the NBA in assists. He's one of the most assisted players in the game when it comes to total, and he really was a great point guard, allowing his guys to shine and get their opportunities and also get the easiest buckets available, which is a layup or a dunk, especially because he had some big man that was able to be quick and fast, so it was very easy, and they can even get alley-oops and everything in between because it was just that easy, and they was prepared. He would lead them to those baskets. He would pass it right on time and right on target to the point where they would have gaps defensively. So they had it so easy that they would even be eccentric just because of that. But when it comes to Isiah Thomas, you look at his defense, he stayed in front of guys, he competed, he wanted the big moments, he wanted the big opportunities. When you look at the fact that he was so tiny and so small compared to everybody else on the court, and he still was able to be one of the best players, if not the best player, depending on what team they played, and the fact that he was able to step his game up, even if he was injured, even if he had problems, he was able to rise above the occasion and not make excuses and still get the job done. That's what you want out of your franchise player. That's what you want want out of your best player, and that's what you want a guy, and that's why he was able to lead a team to a championship. The intangibles was there, the teamwork was there, the clutch and ability to take over was there, and just having that mentality. This is what it takes to be great. This is what it takes to be a champion. And since he knew that, he was able to lead them to a championship too. And they actually swept the Los Angeles Lakers with the greatest point guard ever, Magic Johnson, on that roster, and Kareem and those guys. And people didn't expect it to be a sweep, but that's how great and determined this Detroit Pistons era was, because they was able to also repeat. And Isiah Thomas was a big reason because of that. And some people say, well, he played so good that they could have did a three-peat, but it didn't happen. But it was still fun to see them get there that many times and have that much success and be able to come out on top. Even though he retired early because of Achilles injury, it was sad to see a legend go down prematurely and not the way that he really wanted to, but we don't really control those things. But we do remember all his greatness and everything he did, even though they was the bad boy Pistons and they had that stigma and that people didn't like the way they played or like the way they did things. But over time, people accepted it. They moved on from it, and they gave them their credit because they did it their way. They did it the best way that they could, and they had a style of play that was unique, and it stood out. And he was ahead of that team and made sure they operated the way they needed to, even to beat the best competition, which they ended up doing multiple times. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and share, hit the notification bell, and watch some of my older videos too if you're new to the channel. But even if you're an old subscriber, you might miss some videos that you probably wanted to see. Check those out too if you still a long lasting survivor as my subscriber. Other than that, see you guys later.